and welcome to episode 8 of the Logo Files. This is the show where I, your humble host, will take one specific logo and give you my own thoughts and opinions. Now, I did say last week that today's episode would be about tying tees, but I can't access the files that I used to make the video. So that's going to be moved to a few episodes later, okay? Just thought I'd clear that up. But don't worry, I'm still going to cover it. So, as for today's episode, I thought we'd take a little trip back into the world of the BBC. Like episode 3, we looked at BBC Video, so I thought, what could I do as a follow-up to my most viewed video on this series? Well, I thought I'd do another part of the BBC. So, get ready to get informed, because it's time for BBC News. So what exactly do we see in this opening intro? Well, we have this white background with all the countries of the world in a very dark red colour, and they sort of phase around and fly around because, this was made when, computer animation was prominent, as we see these rings flying around as the camera swoops around them, forming a familiar globe-like shape. The continents slowly start to form together, rings fly around it, and the globe is finally revealed. It then pulls back to reveal the BBC News logo in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, I really want to point out one particular thing with this logo, and that would be the globe that we see in the island. Now, the globe itself is no stranger to the BBC, as they've been using it on their main channel, BBC One, since the 1960s, and they've continued using it until the early 2000s. The globe itself on the BBC News channel was first used way back in 1999. Yes, it was first used in 1999, back when the channel was still called BBC News 24. Now, I will explain a little bit more about this in the longevity segment a bit later on. So, now it is on to the music that is used. And, well, just see for yourself. So, now the tune. What makes the BBC News theme so brilliant? Well, it has to lend itself to the composer, one David Lowe, who composed the tune all the way back in 1999. Now, I just want to talk about something. The BBC News theme is quite memorable. So, what comprises it? Well, here's David Lowe himself talking about how the tune is composed.
And one of the sounds that came up was the pips, which is that sound, which is BBC time signal the BBC's used since 1926, and I thought, wow, that's already like an iconic sound that the BBC have got. Maybe I could create a piece of music out of that. So I started with the beeps, which is one every second, and I did a bass drum, that, and started building up the rhythm track, added a hi-hat to it, and I got to that point, I thought, right, okay, bass line next, and something like this. So that's literally drums, bass line and pit, and you've already got a piece of music happening. So the next stage was to add some bigger drums to give it a bit more drama. And then some chords which have to be neutral. They can't be happy, too sad, too emotional. They've got to be a fairly neutral sounding chord. So I came up with just two chords, a minor chord and a major chord. So this is what the end result sounds like.
So that's how the BBC News theme is made. It just takes 6 main components to put it all together. Yeah, it's only made of 6 individual instruments, and wow, when you put all of them together, it just sounds very authoritative, doesn't it? It just really makes you want to stop and listen to the news. So, now I'm going to attempt to clear up a bit of confusion here. So, where do we begin with the introduction? Well, the ident that we keep seeing, was first introduced on the 21st of April 2008 as a big rebrand for the channel. Yes, we've been covering the channel, not the brand. This is the channel. Now, previously, from 1997 to 1999, they'd use a thing called the flags on the hour, which was then later returned in October 1999 and changed into the more familiar red background with the countdown. The BBC News countdown was revived many times, but in 2008, it was dropped in favour of this new globe motif. Now, since 2008, there have been a total of, wait for it, 3 revisions of this logo. Allow me to demonstrate. This first variant from 2008 only lasted until 2013. We then had this version, a slightly more updated version from 2013 to 2019, and then this version, which has been used since 2019, but is said to be dropped in 2022, as they're introducing a new logo with a new brand, and of course, the new logo. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try and say my final thoughts in under 90 seconds. Ready, set, go! So what are my final thoughts for this logo? Well, with its longevity and overall publicity and the way it's presented, it seems like quite an iconic logo for the BBC News to even use. So, why do I personally think this is a good logo? Well, it's quite big, and it's not even afraid to shy away from being dramatic, because that's what news is. It is dramatic. And thus, I think that even though the BBC is actually getting rid of the globe ident next year, it is sad to see it go, but we'll have fun memories of it as we remember it. So, with that, we now come to the end of the 8th episode of the Logo Files. And now, yes, I do know right at the beginning I said that Time Tease will be remained for another episode, so be sure to look out for that. Also, make sure to like and comment and subscribe and all that, and even watch the Season 1 playlist, of course. So, with all that out of the way, and with only 20 seconds left, we, of course, have to go for this week. So, until next week, this case is closed. We'll see you next week.